How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. So a while back, I took a look at the Asus Delta gaming headset, which to my surprise was actually one of my favorite headsets of all time. It's expensive. It was retailing for like $150 or 3,000 Rand, which is a bit out there, but it was actually mind-blowingly good. Good comfort, a very good sound quality, a very good microphone, all of that. But we didn't really hear a lot of talk about that headset. But anyway, now Asus has decided to bring out the Delta S, which is currently retailing for around $200. So it's $50 more. That it looks like the price is currently just a placeholder, because if you look on Amazon, $200, whereas the Delta is again $150, but we even saw it on Spatial for like $115, which is honestly just a steal. So if you're looking for a headset, you can already go for that because it's really good. But anyway, so we think this one is currently just a price holder for $200 because we also asked Asus and they said they don't really have a confirmed price yet. So there we go. Hopefully it's going to be cheaper. We're expecting it to range around like $80 to $100, so $90. I think that'll actually be a nice sweet spot for this headset, competing with a lot of the other brands as well in the more mid to high range headsets. So anyway, this is the box, but we already have the headset right here. And it pretty much looks exactly the same as the previous Delta, although we had the white one, and I kind of want to see a white Delta S as well. The white just looked so good. But anyway, this is the headset. It has more of a more standard design, which I honestly do prefer. Nothing is too out there really. It is a bit more plastic than the Delta S, which the Delta S was actually pretty strong build, but this one is also not bad at all. You do have pretty good flex. I'm not going to go too crazy because sometimes a lot of people comment about that. You do have adjustments to make it larger. So you do have all of the standard things. Now at the top, you do have pretty comfortable soft memory foam at the top. And then for the ear cups, they're actually extremely soft, which we'll get into. They are actually very good. A lot more like softer than a lot of other headsets that I've used. Now straight away, you will notice that on the sides, you do have RGB, which I actually asked you guys on my social. So if you guys want to follow me there, definitely check that out. If RGB on a headset is worth it. And actually, to no surprise, most of you guys said it's not really. And yes, nobody really sees your headset. Maybe if you're streaming or if you just put it on your desk, it looks nice, but you're not really going to see that when you actually wear it. So it's a gimmick. It looks nice, I have to say, when you're just looking at it straight there, but it doesn't really do anything else. And I have to say, it does look nice on the headset, but again, it's not really worth it that much, depending on the price. But for this one, you do have just your standard RGB flow. You do have some effects around the side and then the ROGI here more towards the side. You do actually have a few controls here on the back as well of the left ear cup, where you do have your RGB on. You can turn it off as well. And then you actually have an effect where if you put in the mic, I'll show you guys later, where you put in the mic, it actually picks up the volume and actually like lights up more, which is entirely then a gimmick because you can't even see that as well. So I'm not exactly sure why Asus added that in particular, but yeah, maybe if you're streaming, people can see that. I think that's probably the only reason you'll actually use that. But anyway, yeah, let's move on. So on the side here as well, you do get your volume rocker where you can just pop it up and down. And also if you press it in, it does mute the microphone, which we'll get into. Now then, getting into the cable, you do actually have a braided USB type C cable, which is around 1.5 meters long. Now I do like that it's type C. You do actually get a USB type C to type A adapter, plus a extension cable, which is around 1 meter from, again, type C to type A. So you do have that option. Now, the only thing that I don't really like that much is that the cable isn't detachable. I think Asus really missed out here. If they were able to add a detachable cable, that would have been so good, because a lot of headsets these days do go detachable. The type C is again nice, but Detachable would have just been that step above. So the only thing that I didn't like that much. Now moving on towards comfort, I am happy to say that these again are just like the Deltas, which are extremely comfortable. And now you do have all of your adjustments again to make the headset nice and large. You do also have a lot of maneuverability for the ear cups themselves to swivel all around. You can rest it on top of your neck if you want to use it like that, and maybe show off the RGB then. Still can't really see it though. And then you of course have your extremely soft memory foam ear pads. Now honestly, again, these are one of the softest memory foam padding that I've actually felt on a headset. Now that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but in this case, it's actually a good thing. You do have a lot of soft padding there, so it's nice and soft around your ear. Now, these are the leatherite padding, but you do also actually get inside, you do get the velour ear pads as well. So just the same again as the Delta, so you do have the option of rather switching between either the leatherite or the velour cloth ones, depending on which one you prefer. Now, the cloth ones usually, these ones not so much, they actually get caught on the beard sometimes. So yeah, you'll just have to try it out and see which one you prefer. I honestly like the leatherite ones a bit more today, but it does also get a bit hot, especially in summertime. And along with that, also the RGB actually gets hot as well. Now, it's not like it's going to burn you or anything, but if you put your hand on the side, you can actually feel it heating up. So if it's an extremely hot day, along with the leatherite ear pads and the RGB, it might get a bit toasty. So yeah, just be mindful of that. But anyway, as for the depth of the ear cup, you guys know I have a problem where my ears do tend to scratch against the inside of the driver wall, and I am happy to say that it does touch the inside, but it doesn't really annoy me, which is I'm actually quite happy about. Something weird though is that the driver actually stands out a bit, but it's only the little knob. Now we'll just put on a picture to show you guys which part, but it actually stands out a bit more. Luckily my ear actually sits around that, so it doesn't really bother me at all, but it's the first time that I'm actually feeling that, which is a bit strange. But it didn't bother me. I actually have been using these for around a week and a half daily, and they're actually really comfortable and I had no problems. So comfort, honestly really good. Also, just a side note, sound bleed is also really kept to a minimum, as well as noise isolation. So if you put them on, they do a pretty good job of cancelling out some of the background noise. Not entirely, it's not noise cancellation or anything, but it does a pretty good job. Again, same with sound bleed, where if you're next to somebody, they won't really be able to hear what you're listening to. Now, it doesn't make a extremely good seal at the bottom of your ear, but it's not bad. So you can push your finger in there a tiny bit. But luckily also clamping force is actually pretty good. It does, if you go all mental and you shake your head around like crazy, it can fall off, but it's not too much clamping force that you actually like put pressure against the side. And if you are wearing glasses, this should actually help out with that as well, where it's quite comfortable. Now moving on towards sound quality, just like the previous Delta, the Delta S does come with a quad DAC ESS9281 Pro, which just improves the quality apparently, and it does have a frequency range ranging from 20 Hz to 40 kilohertz. Now that's actually pretty good, but I did find that the Delta S's do have a more of a neutral sounding range really. The bass is a bit lacking, it's there, but you don't really get that thumping bass, which a lot of gamers actually want, especially for like explosions and so on and music. For the highs, it's also there, but you can't really, you don't hear that crackling gunshots whisping past your ear, especially for vocals as well. It's not that pronounced. We did find that the mid-range was a bit more pronounced compared to the other ranges. So that is where footsteps, it did help out there quite a bit, where you can actually hear the footsteps a lot more clearly than some of the other frequency ranges. So that could be a plus, but again, it's a bit more neutral sounding. Now, the more neutral sounding frequency range is for some a bit of a bummer, because I do want a bit more bass or a bit more high end. But to me personally, you do have a lot more range to work with, because you can actually again EQ the headsets as well, where you can go download Asus Armory Crate software where you kind of play around with the EQ a bit more. We actually added a bit more bass there, we added some other EQs as well, and that actually increased the quality for me personally a lot more. Now again, the bass isn't overpowering or thumping really, but you do get that a tiny bit more, which is just a nice little extra. Same with the highs. So if you're going to use these, I will definitely say go download Asus Armory Crate software, where you can get a bit more out of these, as well as your 7.1 in game. That actually helped out quite a bit. We did use it for a bit while gaming, and you can hear a lot more. Now, of course, a lot of people don't like the 7.1, it's virtual, so you do have that option to turn it off, but I found it to actually work quite well. All right, then next up, let's take a listen towards the microphone, because the previous Delta's microphone was amazing. That's actually one of the best headset microphones that I've actually heard so far. And this one has a new feature called their AI noise cancellation, which we also actually saw on the Asus ROG Go 2.4, which I took a look at a while back as well. So for the microphone, you do have a nice short detachable bendable microphone. You can just pop into the left ear cup, adjust it to wherever you want. You also have a little red LED here, so if you do again push the rocker wheel in, it's going to mute the microphone. And this is how it sounds, as you guys can hear. Now, on its own, it doesn't sound amazing. It's still a headset microphone, so it's a bit tinny, it's a bit nasally, just like most other. It's not, again, as good as the previous Deltas. So it's, to no surprise, it's going to be cheaper, most likely, we hope. So, but overall, it doesn't sound too bad. But let's take a listen towards that AI noise cancellation, because that's going to be more of one of the standout features of the headset if you're going to need it. So this is with just some background noise really going on. We do have some gardening going on the outside with a lawnmower, some fans and so on, but nothing too crazy. So I'm quickly going to turn on the aircon right there, which is going to be quite loud, so we'll be able to hear how that sounds. Alright, so that's how it sounds now with the aircon on. You guys will probably be able to hear it. It's quite a bit loud. So I'm going to quickly turn on the AI noise cancellation and put it on a low, then medium, and then high, so you guys can hear the differences between all three, and depending on which one you would actually need. Alright, so noise cancellation on a low. This is how that sounds. Now I can't hear it myself, but tested it before and it does actually do quite a good job. So I'm gonna stay quiet quickly. Alright, so that's on low. Now medium, that is how it sounds on medium. Again, it does pretty good job cancelling out the loud aircon, and if you're going to use a keyboard or so on, it's probably going to do that as well. And then lastly, you can take a listen to high, and that is how that sounds. Now, I couldn't hear a massive difference between like a medium and high. Low for me actually sounded the best just overall, because it does also affect your voice a bit as well. You can hear that it has that artificial noise cancellation really. So for the best possible, you'll want to turn it off, but if you do have a lot of background noise, low or medium I think is going to work the best. And then lastly, you just have the noise gate that you can turn on as well, and then perfect voice depending on what you want to add. So you do have some options there to play around and get the perfect voice for you. So
that like will teach you for musicians?
No, not really. So then in conclusion, the Asus ROG Delta S, not as good as the Delta, but it should also be cheaper. Again, I'm not exactly sure on price point. currently retailing for $200, which is just way too much for the headset. But if they actually bring it out later and it's going to range around $90, then definitely it's going to be a good option to go for. It does have the build quality of the flex of that, of the adjustments for the ear cups. The ear padding is so soft and so comfortable, so no issues there. It looks also nice with the RGB again, depending on if you actually want that, but I kind of like it. It does get a bit hot though, I can actually feel it right now. Now, sound quality again, pretty good. If you do add a bit of EQ, it's going to increase that just a bit more, depending on what you want. Bass, not super out there, but it's good enough. And then also microphone is actually pretty good, especially with that noise cancellation. You can add that. There are some software that has that built in, their own version of like AI of noise cancellation. So it just depends, but it's a nice feature that they added. And I don't think you really pay that much for that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. All I can say is if Asus drops the price, then this is definitely going to be a good option to go for if you're looking for a more mid-range headset. Otherwise, just go for the Delta, the normal Delta. That was just, again, really, really, really good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A big thanks to Asus for sending over the headset. If you guys want to pick it up for yourself, I will leave links in the video description. Just check the pricing for then. If you guys enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And I will check all of you guys next time. Cheers, guys.